Everybody, it's Blair with the Badass Records podcast, welcoming you in for another episode after a little spring break. We're back at it, and I'm pleased to share with you that this week's guest is Matt Jack of Death by Science Fiction. Check their stuff out at Death by Sci-Fi on Instagram, and you can find their stuff on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Music, and Spotify as well. And be sure to catch Jackchella Year 2, Friday, April 3rd at the Rino in North Kansas City. Catch 5 sets of Matt Jack bands. It is sure to be a ton of fun. Episodes of the podcast more or less air Thursdays. You can find everything on the website, which is badassrecordspodcast.com. Stream or download on your platform of choice. View it on YouTube. And keep tabs on the socials at Badass Records Podcast on Instagram. That's all I got for you this week. Appreciate you stopping by. Hope you enjoy the show. I think this is going to wind up being episode 204 of Badass Records Podcast, and welcome, Matt Jack.
Thank you.
Very,
good to be here.
Very nice to meet you. Is that? Am I saying it right, Matt Jack?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
My mom would say it's Matthew, but I mean,
fair.
Matt's the nickname.
So I'm not like a movie buff.
Yeah.
But I'm a movie dork, in that I watch the movies that I like a lot and quote them. So. One of my favorites, 1987's The Lost Boys. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this movie?
I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. So, Jason Patric, are you familiar with this actor?
No, I don't think so.
He's had a couple other roles. Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
This is like the height of the Coreys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
I'm way older than you, I bet, so maybe none of this is resonating true. But anyway, divorced mom and her 2 boys move cross country to California to live with her dad. And it's their, high school and middle school, so it's a tough age to move, whatever. Sure. They meet people and find out very quickly that they are living in a thick vampire community. And so there's plenty of quotable lines. One is the dad at the very end of the movie. Like, they didn't know that he knew all along, but he goes, "One thing I never could stomach about living in Santa Carla, all the damn vampires." There's they have this weird like blood wine. If you drink it, it kind of makes you half vampire, but you have to kill to become full.
Okay.
So there's a few people that are like stuck because they drank, but they don't want to do that. And one of them's a little boy, and his vamp starts coming out, and he comes bursting onto the scene, and one of the guys goes, "Holy shit, it's the Attack of Eddie Munster." There's another one where they shoot one of the vampires through the heart, and it backs him up. The arrow goes through, and it backs him up into the receiver of a stereo system, and the thing crackles and explodes and lights on fire, and one of them goes, "Death by stereo." so dorky, but so cool. Yeah. You are not that. You are Death by Science Fiction.
Yes.
At Death by Sci-Fi on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, pop punk influenced alternative rock band out of KC, founded by 5 friends.
Yeah.
How old is the band?
We've been playing together since the pandemic, so maybe early 2021.
Okay.
Maybe the first time we got together was the end of 2020, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the name origin story.
I wish there was a cool story with it. There's really not.
Okay.
It was like I've played in several bands since I've been in Kansas City, and normally I play the drums. So I kind of decided I wanted to pick up a guitar and write my own songs and do something other than be behind the drum kit.
Wow.
For once.
Okay.
So I just started writing some songs and I sent them to my buddy Izzy, who also plays guitar, and we'd played in other bands before. And so I was like, hey, we should jam on this. And, we kind of like met up and played through some of the songs. And then at a certain point I was like, this could be an actual band. What should we call ourselves? I think I sent him like three options, just like random things. Like, I wish I could remember what the other ideas were. They were probably stupid. But I think maybe I heard Death by Science Fiction on like a podcast I was listening to. It was just a phrase someone had said, and I just wrote it down. I was like, that's kind of cool. So that was the phrase that Izzy picked, and I was like, cool, that's our band name.
There we go.
Death by Science Fiction.
So you're behind the kit most of the time. You decide, I want to write some songs. Did you already have? Are you writing on an acoustic 6-string?
Usually electric.
Electric.
Yeah.
Okay, so you already had it.
Mm-hmm.
Just for grins, or would you noodle around on it, or?
I started playing drums whenever I was like 14 maybe.
Okay.
And I did that all through my teen years and my 20s. And then whenever I got my job in Kansas City and moved here and like finally had the money, I was like, hey, I'm gonna finally try to pick up a guitar and play it. So I had spent maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years before that just like strumming around on it. I picked up a Les Paul, I think, at Guitar Center. And,
okay.
I just ran it through Logic Pro on my computer, and there's a million different presets and stuff you can use. So I just had fun with it. And I'm kind of like when I'm writing songs for that project in particular, I'm not great at like always articulating my ideas. So I'll just have to like, rather than, a lot of folks will like pick up an acoustic guitar and strum it and say like, hey, here's the outline of a song. I have to like actually outline the song and like add MIDI drums to it and bass and everything to like really sell my idea to whoever it is that I'm
pitching it
to.
to.
Yeah. Because I'm not great at saying like, oh, it could go like this, and then we're gonna hit this chord here and do this hit.
So you're messing around with it for a few years, and then you're like, I want to write some songs. Did you, when you started to write songs, did you go to some things that you had come up with, or were you just completely fresh, scratch, new stuff? What did that look like?
I think for this project in particular, it was all fresh stuff.
Okay.
I figured out how to play power chords basically, and
gotcha.
and drop D, and then the world was mine at that point.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys were friends before forming the band?
So we were all friends who'd been in other bands together. For the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Just in the like living, breathing organism that a band is, and all of its members, significant others, family, blah blah blah, to kind of make it all work.
Yeah.
And I suppose whether you're perfect strangers that just ripped a flyer off the telephone pole or knew each other, and it could go either way. But so you're 4 or 5 years into it now, and
yeah, I'd say coming up on 5 years now. And it was just me and Izzy at first, and then the other folks, our band bio might be a little bit dishonest actually. The bassist and the drummer for the band, we actually met on a site called Bandmix.
Bandmix.
Yeah, so I had messaged them on Bandmix and just said, hey, I'm starting a project. Here's some song ideas I've got.
But they're local.
They're local, yeah.
Is it like Craigslist where you can filter it down to what you're
kind of?
Okay.
Yeah, I always describe it as like Tinder for band members, basically. Like you put what you're looking for, what you got.
Just so we're clear, I need a bassist. I'm not looking to hook up.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And you put like your influences and that kind of thing. So the bassist and the drummer both came and auditioned, I guess, with us.
Okay.
And they were both just great immediately. Like immediately became friends. And it was just kind of something we were doing in the basement for a while.
At your place?
We were at our guitarist's place for a while. And then I've kind of slowly built up my home studio over the past few years.
Nice. So you're handy?
I mean,
ish.
I like to go down with a hammer and nails, in the basement and see what I can do. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Did you say Bandmix?
Bandmix.
Is it free?
Yep. You can pay for a subscription. and that gets you certain benefits.
Sure. Are there
but
ads? I'm assuming.
I don't know
Oh,
actually.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so Jack Chella,
Yeah.
uh, date and location. It's coming up, right?
Yep. April 3rd at the Rhino
Okay, cool.
in North KC. Yep.
This is year 2,
Year 2.
and what did last year look like?
So last year was the first year we did it. My buddy Ben Went, who I've played in several bands with.
Okay.
I played drums with him in a band called Shotgun Wedding Singer. He was kind of joking around maybe a year and a half ago, because I play in like 5 different bands. He was like, we should just do Jackapalooza or something like that. And we kind of workshopped the name, and we were like, oh yeah, it'd be funny to do Jack Chella and get all your bands to play in one night. And at first I was very against it, because I knew it would be exhausting. But then,
Okay, how long sets are we talking?
I mean, we do like 30. Well, there's the first bands are more like 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then usually there's like 2 main acts, which are more like 30, 40 minutes a piece. So there's like 5, 6 bands.
Right?
Yeah.
Beyond whatever breakdown and setup has to happen, you get a minute to decompress.
A little bit. I usually bring a change of clothes and go in the bathroom and like splash myself with water.
Yeah.
And kind of, recuperate for a minute.
Man, this little pocket where we are, 199 to 203, is like
the Rhino gang.
The Ben Went section. It's like, it feels like every episode I've done lately, he's come up, and I think we've messaged. I need to find it and see
for sure
if he wants to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure he would love to. He's a really busy guy, but I'm sure he'd be a great conversation, and he's just like the nicest dude you'll ever meet.
Nice.
So
tell me again, it's at the Rhino, and the date is
April 3rd.
April 3rd. Okay. Yep. And was it there last year as well?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing differently for year 2 versus the first year? Anything?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit. Last year, we resurrected a band that I hadn't played with for a few years that called Attic Noise.
Okay.
So
that's a cool name.
Kind of reunited. And
it's a little scary.
I always thought that one, the fun thing about that band name is I always thought of it as like noise in your brain, like your brain's crowded with thoughts and stuff. It's attic noise. I don't know. So we resurrected that band and played last year. This year I've got a new project that I think is going to take that spot. It's me and my buddy Dylan.
Okay.
We've been writing music in my basement for the past year, so we're going to hard launch that and play some songs.
Wow. So this will be a debut live performance? Very
cool. Will be. Yep. And then also on top of that, we're going to do for the last part of the night, Ben and another guy I know named Caleb Lumby are going to do like an emo pop punk kind of cover set.
Okay.
And have like rotating singers come up and just make it a big party. So.
If I pushed a button and the Final Jeopardy music started playing right now, you have to write the definition of emo.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah, to me, I've thought about this before. Emo is not really a genre of music for me.
Okay. You called yourself, I guess I'm an emo kid at heart in our correspondence.
I did. I think emo is just any type of music that makes you emotional in any sort of way.
Okay, but it's not a genre.
I don't consider it a genre, no.
Okay. If you walked into a record store and saw a stack with that label, emo, what are you guys doing here?
Yeah.
Really?
I think it just depends. Like I think Dashboard Confessional could be considered emo, but like Hawthorne Heights could also be considered emo. Elliott Smith is pretty emo. I mean, it kind of spans.
Yeah. So emo as a term, not a genre, is or is not akin to goth?
I don't really know what I would call goth music, actually.
Goth, well, okay, but forget about genre. Just like you called yourself an emo kid, there are quote unquote goth kids.
Yeah.
Are they related in
I
some way?
suppose there's some overlap. Yeah, I would say so.
If like South Park has had goth kids on it before.
Sure.
And that it's caricature-y, cartoony, whatever.
Yeah.
But like if those were based on real people in real life, I would think that they would probably have some emo
Yeah,
in their
I would say
their
so.
collection.
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, that's fun. Jack Cella. Okay, good. So you're gonna do 5 sets, 4 sets.
I think 5 sets this
Okay.
year.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. I saw on your that Matt Jackerman Instagram. That's why I asked about making sure I had the name right because I didn't
Oh,
know
sure.
if Jack was actually short for,
Oh, yeah.
or if that was just a goofy.
No, it's just a goofy
Okay.
thing back when I made Instagram back in the day.
I saw your Blink post. Saw them for the 11th time. 171 to go.
Yep.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah. I don't know if they have that many more years in them.
Right. Right. What else? Your IG also links the Way Back band, KC. Another project of yours?
Yeah, that was a pop punk band that I joined in maybe 2018.
Oh, okay.
It's defunct now, unfortunately. But yeah, that was kind of my entrance into like the kind of the Rhino community, and that's where I first met Ben.
The Rhino's been around for that long?
Yeah. I want to say 2015, 2016 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Flammable Drums on
Yeah.
YouTube. Also a thing of yours.
Yeah, that was that was a project I did during the pandemic because
Okay.
I couldn't play gigs,
Right.
couldn't even have band practice really for a while there. So, and I was working from home, so I would go down on my lunch break and after work and just record covers of some of my favorite songs.
Nice.
And I just labeled it Flammable Drums for the
So-
heck of it.
Way Back and Flammable Drums.
Yeah.
They just exist.
Yeah.
Digitally. Like, do you give any energy to promoting those channels or not,
Not
really?
No, not
Okay.
anymore. The way back, we had our farewell show just over 2 years ago.
Oh,
I
wow.
think it was not Halloween, sorry, Valentine's Day of 24, I believe.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we went Ben and I have since formed another band with our good friend Adam Doyle. And then the other two folks in the way back, I don't see a whole lot anymore, but they're still good friends.
What's the meaning behind that name?
The way back?
Yeah.
So that was a project that Ben and Caleb started, and I think the idea was just that Caleb was writing songs that that kind of reflected music that he grew up listening to, and I think that it was just kind of like we're writing songs that we would have written way back in the day, like
Okay.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who Ryan Sickler is? Stand-up comic.
Yeah, name sounds familiar.
How about Your Mom's House? Tom Segura.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So the Honeydew, his podcast started off on their channel.
Okay.
And then he's moved it to his own. But he
Yeah.
kind of recently, maybe a year ago now, started another one called The Way Back.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, I mean, it looks like a seat out of the back of an old, like, wood paneled station wagon.
Yeah. That's cool.
And it's super awkward because him and the guest sit in that, so they're both facing the camera.
Oh, that's kinda
instead of
awkward.
yeah,
Yeah.
and there's no, so they're holding mics, but I think it's just like a nostalgia, fun,
Sure.
passion project.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the insanely safe option that used to be, in the 70s and 80s of just sticking kids in that rear-facing seat where you're looking at the car behind you and probably no seatbelt. And
Yeah.
so
It's a miracle we all survived.
exactly, yeah.
That's funny though.
So what about you? Are you born and raised in the area?
Nope.
Oh, you're from Oklahoma. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Sorry, you've got the hat on. We just talked Thunder, and you mentioned it in your email. You come to KC how?
I always knew I wanted to get out of Oklahoma.
Okay.
So when I graduated college, my cousin Mike Hansko worked at Cerner.
Okay.
Basically, and I saw a job opening there and submitted and got it, thankfully. So we moved to Kansas City, and that's been, I think, 11 years ago now.
Yeah, with you and your wife?
Girlfriend at the time.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
Now wife. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Where'd you go to school?
Oklahoma State.
Okay. Cowboys.
Yep.
Right?
Cowboys.
I was just watching with my son some Bill Self footage from when he played there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's he's like taking charges like a champion. Just, I mean, hitting the deck so hard.
Yeah.
And, shooting some free throws, making some plays. It's fascinating. He's got like, whatever, widow's peak, or his hairline looks worse as a college basketball player than it does now, right,
Yeah.
from coaching on the sideline.
Oh sure.
But okay, so 11 years ago, you come for the job.
Yeah.
I mean, did you like pack a U-Haul and just, or did you come up ahead of time and find stuff, or?
No, we so Cerner thankfully offered moving services.
Wow.
So they came to my college house, which I'm sure those moving guys were just rolling their eyes. 'Cause this place I lived in was something else.
Okay.
But yeah, I loaded up what little furniture I had and brought it up. And my girlfriend and I moved into an apartment on the plaza, and then she started job hunting, and thankfully, I think maybe a month later, it didn't take very long, she found a job.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been, the rest is history.
Cool. Siblings?
Yeah. So I have, my mom and dad were both married before they met each other multiple times.
Okay.
And they each had, my mom had 2 sons, and my dad had 2 girls and a boy.
Okay.
Back in both in their 20s. And then my parents met when they were early 40s, I think.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, and then had me. So I've got 5 half siblings altogether.
Gotcha.
And then in high school, I had a good friend named Tegan, and his parents had just gotten divorced, and my parents had been long since divorced at this point. And
your parents that met in their 40s,
Yeah.
married, had you, and then divorced?
and then got divorced.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, this was 15 years after they'd gotten divorced. But my dad came and picked my friend and I up to take us to a Red Hot Chili Peppers show in Oklahoma City. And on the way back, my friend Tegan's mom wanted to come out and say thank you to my dad for driving us. And I think they met, and it was just an instant connection. So my dad and my best friend's mom ended up getting married.
It's like 3 chapters of Brady Bunch stuff
Yeah.
in there. Wow.
So I gained a stepbrother and a stepsister that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did your folks, and how did their paths cross initially? Do you know?
Yeah. So they both were teachers.
Oh.
My dad was a speech pathologist, and then my mom was, I think she might have taught 5th or 6th grade back then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In Oklahoma?
At Oklahoma.
Right on.
Oklahoma City.
Did they put on music to listen to in the home when you were younger?
A little bit.
Or in the car?
Yeah, it's funny. Growing up, my parents got divorced when I was really young. So
Okay.
I spent a lot of time on the road going between mom and dad's
What
houses.
kind of commute are we talking?
It was about 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody's in OKC and somebody's not?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. My mom ended up moving to Ponca City, which is maybe just 15 miles south of the Kansas border. So
Dang,
it's about
okay.
2 hours north. But all that to say, I spent a lot of time in the car,
Yeah.
going back and forth. And for whatever reason, both my parents had country music on all the
Interesting.
time, like 90s country music.
Okay.
Which is funny because they never really listened to music outside of the car much.
Huh.
But when I was with them, that was always the music that
Fascinating.
I was exposed to.
Wow.
So I have a soft spot in my heart for 90s country music.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming at some point you have had a physical collection of music, or have you always been? Okay. Do you remember not something from the list that you shared with me,
Yep.
and not necessarily any of the '90s country that was on in the cars? An album that you first bought with your own money or borrowed, or something that stands out as like,
Yeah.
wow. There's a whole world of music out there.
That for me was one of 2 albums. It was either Now 4. Do you remember the Now CDs, the Now collection?
No.
It was like Now 1, or Now That's What I Call Music version 1. Now That's What I Call Music version 2.
Like a various artists compilation?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of what was hot at the time.
Oh, wow.
And for whatever reason, I went and bought Now That's What I Call Music 4.
At a store in a mall
at
or something?
Hastings, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, at Hastings.
That name comes up a lot on this
That's
podcast.
funny, yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in one.
Really?
Yeah, but everyone's like, you know Hastings. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I do now. Because you guys
I talked to a lot of folks who've never heard of him before.
Yeah.
But, like, that's where we spent all of my teen years, just hanging out.
cover, were there tracks on there that you knew? Was the cover art cool?
No, I don't think I knew any of the tracks on there.
Check it out.
Yeah, I was just like, this looks cool. All the kids are listening to this, whatever it is, so I'm gonna check it out.
Okay.
So there was that record, and then there was the Shrek 1 soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
Which has a lot of bangers on it.
I mean, whatchamacallit? Jeff Buckley.
Yeah, Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Which
there.
I should say, Leonard Cohen is the original, right?
I think of the original, yeah.
And then who were you about to say? Smash what?
Oh, Smash Mouth.
Okay. There's some oldies on there too, right?
Yeah, there's lots of good stuff on there.
Interesting. Very cool.
So between those two, I got exposed to a nice variety of music that way.
Yeah, I bet.
I think.
What about, so you have seen the Chili Peppers live. Is there a first concert or an early concert memory?
First concert, yeah. First concert for me was 2004. I had just gotten into Green Day.
Okay.
And they just released American Idiot. And I was just all about that. So they were doing the American Idiot tour. And funny enough, Jimmy Eat World was on that tour with them.
Oh.
And I was also a big Jimmy Eat World fan. So that was my first show, was Green Day doing American Idiot. And
wow.
and Jimmy Eat World was touring the Futures album cycle.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So your trajectory as a musician begins around age 14?
Yeah. Yeah, I auditioned for a school band.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play the drums because my dad wasn't a drummer, but he kind of knew his way around some instruments. So he would, kind of show me some things here and there. He showed me how to hold my sticks properly and stuff. And I went to audition for a school band, and I auditioned for drums, percussion, and then my backup was going to be clarinet.
Okay.
Thank God I made percussion, because my life would have taken a very different turn if I'd played clarinet. But that's where it started.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. So percussion.
Yeah.
And then where has it gone up to today? Like, what have the first band, instrument changes?
Yeah.
Things you've learned?
Really, mainly drums until I started Death by Science Fiction.
Okay.
Throughout the years, I always picked up guitars and basses and tried to play around with them, but I could never really do much with them.
Yeah.
Drums was always my main instrument.
Okay.
And then when I was in high school, I did marching band, so I played snare, and then I played like xylophone and keyboard and all that fun stuff too.
Have you seen or heard of Moita, Meute? They're
Is that a band?
yeah.
No, I don't think so.
They're German.
Okay.
And they're like 12-piece techno marching band.
What?
And they wear like the red like the British, the red coats.
Okay, yeah.
Not. I mean, I'm sure that there's a German inspiration that I'm just not thinking of. But they've got like 3 saxes, a sousaphone, a couple of trumpets, a xylophonist, and then 2 dudes that wear partial kits.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's bananas. Like,
that sounds wild.
Their YouTube is nuts. And I just organically came across them, and it seems to me that while they were sort of becoming known and gaining a little bit of notoriety, that they were just like showing up unannounced places in public.
Okay.
And play, and then a crowd would gather, and all of a sudden
almost guerrilla style.
It's like 400 or 500 deep, and they are amazing musicians. They have a bass drummer.
Yeah.
And they do, they kind of start with a small pocket and then build it out, and then you have the drop.
Yeah.
And then they just jam.
Do they perform too, or like
they tour. I think they've got a spring tour. They're never huge, but if it's 14 dates, it's like 9 or 10 in Europe, and then just a couple of U.S. cities.
Yeah.
And it's always like, oh, I'll go to Colorado. And it's like, no,
yeah,
maybe not yet.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'd love to check
Yeah,
that
it's
out.
really cool. So then, first band is what age?
Probably. I mean, whenever you're in high school, it's a different band every week. I think we went through. At one point, it was just me and my buddy Carter playing snare drums. It
Okay.
was just two snare drums and us like rapping over that.
Nice.
We made some cassette tapes, and I'd give a lot of money to find those tapes and listen to those old recordings. And then it was a string of different bands with various friends some who had no musical talent but just wanted to say they were in a band.
Sure.
And then I kind of found my footing with some guys I think I was 16 when I really got a band going. And we called ourselves Matt, Jack, and the Jack Mats.
Nice.
Which was a name given to us by my high school girlfriend's older brother.
Okay.
I think he just randomly said that and it stuck.
Nice.
So we played the talent show and just played in my mom's garage mostly.
Cool.
But yeah.
And then, are you the idea of performing live with a stand-up, a solo act, or a band gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
Have you, when you played your first gig in public, were you nervous? Was it no problem?
Yeah, I think I was definitely nervous, and I still get nervous, honestly, before a lot of shows. Nowadays, I play probably 90% at the Rhino, and I'm so comfortable there.
Yeah.
Now that I think that just being in that room that I've played at a million times kind of alleviates some of that. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking, and now at time, especially whenever I'm behind a guitar and not behind a drum set, it's very unnerving.
I bet.
At times.
I bet.
So.
I can't recall.
Yeah.
Were you a recommendation from somebody else that had been on?
I think Rod maybe.
Rod Fenn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for sure, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like, because he gave me a list. I mean,
Yeah.
he was great, and he typed out like,
Yeah.
here's who they are, here's what they do. It was super cool, and very appreciated.
That's awesome.
I feel like he must have said your name with Death by Science Fiction.
Uh-huh.
But I just, in learning about all these other endeavors, I don't want to spotlight that one
sure.
if the others are equally important or
Yeah.
more important. Are they? What's your take on it?
Yeah, I would say they're all of equal importance to me.
Yeah.
I think Death by Science Fiction is maybe the outlier just because that's my band. That's the band that I started. That was kind of my solo project.
Gotcha.
That turned into having a lot of friends and became a real band. But definitely, I'd probably split my time maybe 4 different ways with 4 different bands, and I would say they're all pretty equal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, shouts out to Rod. That was super cool.
Yeah, he's a
thing
great
to do.
guy. Very talented producer too.
Appreciate the list.
Yeah,
I
of course.
appreciate you sharing it with me. I know that it's not easy, and I say this all the time on here. I'm thankful that I don't have to do it, because somebody asked me to once, and it immediately was like 37 records.
Oh man, I bet.
And then I was like, "There's just you want me to make cuts?
Yeah.
No, I can't."
And since I've sent you those records, I keep thinking in my brain, I should have included this one, or I did myself dirty not including. There's just so many I could have put
impossible.
on there.
But I usually just roll through them in release order, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
So if we do that, we start with the first of 2 from your list from 2003.
Yeah.
Yellowcard's Ocean Avenue.
Yeah.
4th of 11, including one from last year. 13 tracks, 47 minutes, pop punk / alternative rock out of Jacksonville, which I guess if you're a Jaguars fan, you're supposed to say Duval, whatever the hell that is. This one made one list, and it was episode 192 with the boys from GFM Recording Studio out of Blue Springs.
No, I don't think I've heard of them.
They were super fun.
Yeah.
Tell me about Yellowcard and Ocean Avenue now making its second appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, this album really meant a lot to me because it was probably the first or one of the first pop punk albums that I discovered. And I have a lot of really warm memories of this one in particular. I think I mentioned in the email, my dad and I would go out to Arkansas and go fish and
From
boat
OKC.
from Oklahoma City.
So you got, what is it, 5 hours to get across the state?
It's about, yeah, you're going across half the state and then like a good way into Arkansas.
Where
up to like Eureka Springs
Okay.
and that
Yeah.
area, Beaver Lake.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of spring breaks and fall breaks there, and I had this album pretty much on repeat. Thankfully, my dad let me just play it on repeat.
I was
in
going
the
to
car.
say, are you wearing...
No, he let me put it in the CD player and,
Okay.
and play it pretty much as I wanted to, which
Wow.
is really cool of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So hardcore youth memories from those road trips.
Yeah.
How do you get turned on to them initially?
Ooh, I'm not sure how I initially first heard of Yellowcard. Probably I had a good friend named Carter Price, who I think I mentioned earlier. We were doing the
Yep.
snare drum
Yeah.
band. He was always in those early years, in like middle school years. He was kind of my gateway to this kind of music.
Shouts out to Carter.
To Carter, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a radio DJ now in Houston now.
Nice.
He's killing it. But yeah, he turned me on to a lot of like Newfound Glory, Green Day, a lot of that kind of thing. So I think he probably showed me like Ocean Avenue, like
Okay.
the song Ocean Avenue. And then I went and bought the album, I think probably at Walmart or Hastings from there. And I was also learning to drum at that point.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the drums on this album are just nuts.
Yeah, did you mention the fills and
Yeah.
a couple different things about the way the drums on this were produced?
Yeah, LP was the original drummer for Yellowcard, and he was just an animal. He's probably top 4 or 5 drummers for me.
Okay.
But it was he did so many cool, innovative things. Like he made the drums in the same way Travis Barker does. He wrote songs that wouldn't be the same with a different drummer.
Right. Yeah.
The parts that he wrote actually influenced the songs and sometimes functioned, in a way like a lead guitar would be on a certain track. So
I'm not like obsessed with genre, but I do, been listening to music my whole life. I still consider myself a novice, right, in the world of music knowledge and so on and so forth. So punk, if you had to just throw 2 names that folks would recognize, and that's punk, who would they be?
whenever I think of punk, I always think of like the Ramones
Okay.
and maybe the Misfits,
Okay.
like
Okay.
that kind of stuff. That to me is punk.
So then post-punk
Yeah.
is more polished? I'm sorry. Did you pop
pop punk?
Pop punk.
Yeah.
Is punk, but it's more polished, or like what?
Yeah, I think more melodic in a lot
Okay.
of ways. Poppier hooks is I think a big indication of the difference between just straight up punk and pop punk.
So Green Day goes where?
That's hotly debated.
I know, right?
A lot of folks want to put Green Day in the pop punk category, and I've always had kind of an issue with that because I don't know, they just feel like they came more from that punk scene.
For sure.
You know, and their older stuff especially has way more punk elements. But I mean, I suppose if you're listening 100 years from now and you're listening to Blink-182 and then Green Day in the same, in the same span of time, you're gonna say, "Oh, that's all just pop punk."
Right.
It all sounds the same.
Yeah, the first time a Green Day record made somebody's list, I was reading up on them and saw that there was a whole bunch of hate from you're taking punk out of what it's supposed to be, and it's like, but this is what everybody wants is for like folks to listen to their music and enjoy it. So all of a sudden they're moving a bunch of units and selling out big rooms, and they're not what they started off as anymore because you say so.
Yeah.
Like the lens just got brighter on punk, and a lot of people that have never listened to the Ramones, never listened to the Misfits, and never heard of Social Distortion or whoever you want to put in there. Like, that's kind of opening I don't know.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. I think it goes back to what we were saying about, people hating on the Thunder too. Is it's like
I was going to make that connection too,
people are
man.
going to hate on
right?
what's popular, you know, and who's
Fair.
at the top of their game at that moment.
Fair.
And I think Green Day is a great example of a band who's managed to like really get big and move a lot of records and be very popular, but like at their core, those guys still feel punk to me.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from their image, like they still seem like just dudes, you know, like unshaven dudes who just got done playing guitar in their garage,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day. And they don't, and you know, especially, you know, Billy Joe, excuse me, not afraid to go on stage and speak his mind, you know,
Right.
whether it's, you know, bashing the administration or just, you know, just a drunken rant, whatever it is. Like that guy's pretty punk.
Yeah. So a few months later, still in 2003, that self-titled Blink-182 record, 5th of 9, 14 tracks, 49 minutes, pop punk, alt rock out of Poway, California. Blink's Enema of the State was also on the list for the GFM recording studio guys.
Okay.
But that was a first. That was the first
you meet those
Blink. How did I meet them? I mean, a lot of my outreach has come from like people you may know.
Oh, okay.
You know, on Instagram,
social media
Facebook,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I'm just DMing them and hey, you know, and I think they were like, cool, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So that, you know, they were the second. Is that right? It's only the second of 2 episodes where I had 2 people over there, and both times the folks insisted. The first was the owners of Skate Bar.
Oh yeah.
They're like, it's us, and same. And I was like, all right, well, you're gonna have to share a mic.
Sure.
And I got a couple stools I can put over there, and it's not gonna be awesome for your back, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
And they were really, really cool guys.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Skate Bar.
their Enema of the State was the first. I think it was the first Blink, and now this is the second to make a list. I have talked a little bit about, you know, lanes that are sort of in your periphery.
Yep.
Blink has kind of always been like, they're just right here. I've never like taken a deep dive. I've never known anybody closely that's a huge fan, but I've always been aware of what seems to be a wide and reaching and dedicated fan base. You know, so when you see something that you know really nothing about, and there's a ton of people that are into it, it wiggles your antenna, right?
Yeah, like they're doing something right.
Yeah. So let's see here. You mentioned raw yet polished, and the sound you typically chase for your own projects. How do you get turned on to these guys? And what makes them your favorite band of all time?
Oh man, how much time do you have? I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you how I first got turned on to them. I think it was probably back in the days when we were burning CDs and using like LimeWire. You know, it was like I heard one song I liked by a band, and then I would just go search for whatever I could find on LimeWire, and that's largely how I got into Blink. And I could have honestly probably put any of 4 Blink records
Really?
As my favorite album of all time. I chose this album in particular because I think it shows an evolution of the band, and it's taking pop punk and then kind of like pushing it to that next level, which I always found interesting because anyone can just write a pop punk song. Basically, you could just get 3 chords and then the little pop punk beat and then like some whiny vocals and like there you go. But I think when I discovered these guys, Travis Barker was the big thing that kind of hooked me. The way he played drums, especially on this album, was just very innovative for the genre.
Fascinating choice to go self-titled halfway through your catalog.
Yeah.
And fascinating that you could have picked any of the 9, but the one that's kind of right there in the middle is like evolution.
For me, that's where they peaked. I mean, they've released lots of good stuff since, but that's just Blink at their best.
Have they always had the same lineup, or have they had changes?
So it started out with Mark and Tom, Mark Hoppus and Tom DeLonge, and they had another drummer named Scott Rayner.
Okay.
And they were much more punk, I guess you could say.
Sure.
Back in the day, and Scott was a great drummer, but he was way more of the just kind of straightforward punk beat, kind of like we were talking about. And then he dropped out, and they found Travis. And then it was Mark, Tom, and Travis from like 99 until 2015, I think. And then Tom DeLonge left, and they replaced him with Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio.
Okay.
For a few years, and now Tom's back, and all is right in the world.
Oh wow. So, you've seen him 11 times?
I think 11 times, yeah.
Okay. A bunch at one venue, and then a few smatterings, or have you seen
all over?
Really?
Yeah. My wife is also a big Blink fan. She wasn't when I first met her. I think when I first told her I liked Blink 182, she just kind of rolled her eyes and laughed at me. But I slowly converted her.
Are you guys pretty close age-wise?
She is 2.5 years younger than me. Yeah. So, and that might have been part of it too. Is just it's weird whenever you start talking about bands you're really into, because someone who's just a couple years older or younger might have been at a totally different age when that band was peaking, and they have a totally different frame of reference for who that band is and like what their good songs are.
Yeah.
So
that and the same can be perhaps especially true for people that either grew up under the same roof or spent chunks of like it would be wild to do a study of like I'm slowly cobbling together this theory that middle child or youngest child winds up leaning heavier than oldest child.
Oh, interesting.
So if oldest child is like classic rock, maybe the younger is like, yeah. Now, I grew up on that because I could hear it in their bedroom or in the family or whatever, and I eventually was a little boring, and then all of a sudden I stumbled on...
Need something heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense,
I don't
actually.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do they do different set lists? I mean, have you 11 times, has it been wildly different or similar or somewhere in the middle?
The thing about Blink is they're one of those bands that they've been a band for 30 plus years at this point, and when you have that 9 studio albums, you've got 3 singles from each album. At that point, that's your set list basically. You've got the 3 top songs from each album. That's everyone wants to hear the singles, so like they pretty much have to play their singles. So there's a lot of greatest hits. It's a lot of greatest hit shows with them.
Okay.
They have done. They did an Enema of the State. What was it? It must have been 15 years of Enema of the State. I forget what year that was now. Maybe it was 20. It must have been 20 years of Enema of the State. So they played the whole thing straight through, which was really cool because they got to hear a lot of deep cuts that I hadn't got to hear before.
Yeah.
And then this last tour they did, which was titled the Missionary Impossible Tour, they pulled out some more deep cuts, which was really cool too because I got to hear some stuff I hadn't got to hear before.
But if they have a lot of greatest hits shows, you keep coming back.
Yeah.
What's the draw? I mean, I know they're your favorite band.
Yeah.
But if the show is air quotes similar to a bunch that you've seen, then what is it?
I think I just love the songs that much.
Okay.
This is a band that I've been listening to for over half my life, and every song, I mean, they are playing songs from different albums and different eras, but every song I listen to takes me back to that point in my life, I guess. So it's kind of like reliving some of those emotions and going through. Also, their stage banter is like top tier.
I feel like there's just the occasional photo or clip or whatever.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of energy going into their stage not just the performance but the presence.
Yep, and they've always been like that. Yeah,
between amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Just between the two of them, Mark and Tom. Basically, you can tell they're just two friends who've been best friends forever, and just want to poke fun at each other. And I think they're like trying to make each other break a lot of times too.
Funny.
So it's entertaining to watch. And then you've got Travis Barker in the back doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I could watch him play drums for all eternity basically.
Nice.
So.
So leaving 2003 for
Yeah.
2004 Futures, Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah.
Fifth of 10, 11 tracks, 49 minutes. Stickin' pop punk alternative rock. This is out of Mesa, Arizona. A podcast first. The soundtrack to the late formative years, you said.
Yeah.
An album that helped you feel your feelings. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Well, this album is, I think, a lot about dealing with your emotions and looking towards the future while kind of trying to process the past.
Okay.
I mean, the album's called Futures,
Yeah.
but I listened to this a lot whenever I was going through my first breakup.
Okay.
And I think, that
Teenage
kind of thing,
years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
late teenage years, yeah. And that kind of sticks. I listened to it, while and before I was dating my high school sweetheart, and then after that breakup. So it kind of like, summarizes that whole experience for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are, if Blink has been kind of in this lane, they've been further. Like I've been aware of them for a long time,
sure.
but I've never like sat down and listened to them until getting ready for this.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah. How'd you feel about this album?
I liked it more than I thought I was going
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
You said how did that drum beat go that you said? Like immediately I hear the No Doubt tune.
Yeah.
With the riff that's like burner rain. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
And like that drum
Yeah.
beat is very accessible, and I think you can pluck it and put it in places.
Sure.
I have never really leaned particularly heavy myself.
Yeah.
And I've had to sort of walk myself back down the lead. Like I used to live out here and go, anybody can play power chords and scream. This is garbage.
Yeah.
I've had to really reel that in to
Yeah, sure.
like, let's just chill out. It's not that big of a deal. So when I listen to punk or pop punk, I'm hoping for something unique.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes it's tough to find, like
Yeah.
even to the point of like it has to be a really mindful, concentrated listen to say, oh, okay, this is what sets these guys apart from
Yeah.
bands X, Y, and Z. But I dug it. I don't know why, but I had it in this lane out here as
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to like that.
Sure.
Which
Yeah.
didn't end up being the case. In
it's-
fact,
yeah.
let's see here. I might have made one other note. I made very, very few notes about particular tracks from albums from your list.
Yeah.
Polaris and 23, I liked a lot.
Yeah. 23 especially.
yeah.
That song, man, that gets me right in the feels every time. It's a good one.
So, an album that helped you feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Is that so arriving at that
Yeah.
time and not knowing how to feel your feelings, is that a thing that was unique to you and your situation? Is that teenage angst? Is it somewhere is it a little bit of both?
It's probably a little bit of
Okay,
both. Yeah.
okay.
And I think what really spoke to me about this album more than anything is the lyrics on them.
Okay.
I think Jim Adkins is an incredible lyricist. And I also love just in general, this band is, I feel like, very understated. If I had to describe them in any way, there's the middle, which everyone knows, the "Hey, don't write yourself off yet" song. And this album is not really about that at all. It's kind of going back to the reason I asked if you like this album actually is because I thought if you like this one, you might want to go back and revisit some of their earlier stuff.
Okay.
Because it's definitely it's more raw and it's not quite punk, I wouldn't say, but I feel like it's kind of the beginning of true emo music.
Interesting.
Probably.
Okay.
I'd put them up there with like Saves the Day and some of those bands.
I'm realizing now that another thing that I had attached to it, like aware enough but distant enough that they have always struck me as a perpetual opener.
Oh yeah.
but I'm assuming now that that's not the case. They've moved units. They've got a big fan base. They tour.
Yeah. That's probably a pretty accurate
Oh,
description, actually.
fascinating. That's just a lucky guess. It's
Yeah,
not
no,
based
yeah.
on.
I saw them open for Fall Out Boy in a large stadium a couple years ago.
Oh wow.
And I've seen Jimmy Eat World not quite as many times as I've seen Blink, but probably 8 or 9 times. I've seen
Okay.
them quite a bit. They have the kind of energy that's just made for a small room.
Sure.
And I think because of that, they couldn't really break out into more of that like larger venues, more mainstream type thing. So I think they do best whenever they're headlining a small venue.
Okay.
But at any other time, they're going to be opening for Green Day or Fall Out Boy or any of those larger
There you
bands.
go.
So in a lot of ways, they are kind of
That's
like
cool.
they opened for Third Eye Blind when they were at Starlight a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really love a decades-long stand-up comedy fan.
Yeah.
The guys and gals. I suppose I haven't really heard any gals speak to it, but the guys that I've been fans of for a long time that have risen to selling out arenas,
Yeah.
and even maybe a stadium if it's a multiple, you got a couple of acts. The way, like if you, this is not a diss to Blink's greatest hits set list, but if you're a comic and you're always just touring with the same set,
Yeah.
do something else.
Right.
Like I certainly am not going to pay to come. But so the ones that I think are doing it right are the ones that build an hour, and then maybe they tape a special or whatever it is they do, and then they throw that material away
Yeah.
and start and so they, to a T, will say, is it amazing to play a sold out arena? Absolutely. But there's nothing like the club.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
you get up there and you have maybe 5 minutes
Yeah.
that you've not done anywhere ever before. And you got to figure out, all right, out of the 5 minutes, 2 of those were terrible.
Yeah.
So I got to throw that and then but it's something about, and they speak to this, not me.
Yeah.
That small room really lets you sort of breathe and
Yeah.
and work your craft.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
so
get
much more
that.
intimate that way. And I think a lot of times about, because there's probably not an alternate reality where I made it as a big musician, but if I did, I don't know that I'd be happy playing the same set every single night, even if it was for 50,000 people. Like, I'm gonna get tired of that. I would probably crave that
Yeah.
more intimate small venue.
I don't, Night Ranger. You familiar with this band?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Sister Christian.
Okay,
You know
yeah,
this
yeah.
tune? Motor,
Yeah.
like they're just the first ones that come to mind, and probably because I've had a sort of I know they're not, but I've sort of had a one-hit wonder Post-it note attached to them my whole life.
Yeah.
But I think folks will come out by the thousands to see that band, and it's the same freaking set list. Like, the drum solo,
Oh, yeah.
the lights that go with
Same
it
every
happen, and it's just like I would go nuts. Like, and I would think that would add friction to that whole, like, the living, breathing organism that is the band, and
Yeah.
all the things that each individual is dealing with, and their family and significant others, and I don't know.
Yeah, and it becomes a job at that point, I feel like. And
Yep.
and I mean, I guess, which is fine, but it becomes more of a job than something that you do because you enjoy.
Right.
And then that doesn't seem fulfilling at
Right.
all.
No.
So
Moving to 2007, Echoes, Silence,
Oh,
Patience, and Grace, Foo Fighters, 6 of 12. Let's see. And I think I have, one from this year, 12 tracks, 51 minutes. Alternative rock, post-grunge out of Seattle. Got to go way, way back to episode 48 with Cole Welch, who had The Color and the Shape on his list. And you, nobody previously, if I'm inaccurate, it's maybe because only one person has done it, has given me anecdotes or bio or thoughts, written thoughts associated with each album
Oh,
that makes
interesting.
their list.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge verbiage
Yeah.
writer nerd. So clean copy is like right at the top of my nerd wheelhouse, and your copy was really clean.
Oh,
You
thank you.
used the word dynamacy,
Oh, yeah.
which I don't think gets thrown around too much. But dynamacy, being an Oklahoman, the artwork, the tattoo,
Yeah.
a lot. It feels like emotionally invested for this one.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Absolutely. And I think whenever people ask me to listen to the Foo Fighters, this is always the album I give them for that reason, because I think it's the most dynamic of all of the
Okay.
things that they've done. And before this, the record they released before this, I think it was In Your Honor. I think it was a 2-part album.
Oh,
So they did like kind of one like full band, and then the other was more like folky acoustic type stuff.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on this album, they really pulled it all together.
Wow.
And I think that's what I've always really admired about this album, is the way that they were able to go from just like scorching hot guitar driven rock to like really mellow, in your feels kind of moody rock music.
Yeah.
And they combine it really well, I think.
Interesting that you say that, because I started listening and I had this feeling, and I was like, "That's fucking stupid." Don't. And then it came up again, and as the album went on,
Yeah.
And if it's offensive, I apologize. I couldn't, the attic noise. Ben, I'm sorry. I'm speaking out of turn.
Oh, you're good.
Put a pin in that thought for
Okay.
for your next one.
Okay.
I know that I've asked this before of a previous guest. They have had Dave was not originally. What lineup shifts have they had?
For the Foo Fighters?
Yeah.
So for the first album, Dave did everything.
Okay.
It was kind of his post Nirvana, I think, way to cope with what had happened with Kurt and all that.
Yeah.
So he wrote that full album, and then they had another drummer
That's
for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I'm blanking on his name.
But that's what's confusing
Yeah.
or confused me in the past, is that I always have him as the drummer.
As the drummer. Oh, yeah.
But it's not always been him.
No.
Okay.
No, I think he only played drums on that first album, and then maybe the second album too.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've seen the documentary on the Foo Fighters, but I'm fairly certain the drummer they had recorded drums, and then Dave listened to it and was like, "Sorry, buddy, this isn't gonna cut it." So he went back through and recorded all the drums. Needless to say, that didn't work out.
Borrowing a page out of Billy Corgan's
Oh yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins
Yeah.
move there.
Did he do that?
The whole thing for Siamese Dream, allegedly.
Really?
And they're super talented.
I did not know that.
And they were all like, "What the dude, what?"
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a great record, but I mean,
Sure.
I don't know. There's a whole, you can put that true or false in a bucket of him being allegedly difficult
Yeah.
to work with. I wouldn't say that Dave is, but
Yeah.
he did do that for the drums.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fair.
It's tough, being, because I'm in a band where I play guitar, and I had to I found a drummer to come play, and it's tough at times, not because Gabe is doing anything wrong, but simply because I have an idea in my head of how I want it to be. So it's been a really nice challenge and learning experience for me to kind of step out of that and like really give him the reins and just let him do his thing. But I get why that would be really difficult in that scenario. And I think that's why when Dave did find Taylor Hawkins and that clicked so well, I think that's really speaks to how special Taylor was, that he could be Dave Grohl's drummer, you know, of all people.
Yeah. This might have come up in Rod's episode.
Yeah.
But somewhere recently, the idea of I am Matt Jack, and I'm in 5 bands, and I know how I have produced other people's records, but I'm not producing mine. Like, and meaning a conscious choice to say, like, I could do this, but you make it awesome in the way that you do your thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can certainly see a spot where you might say, well, I was kind of thinking we do this, on this riff or on this track or whatever. Like it can be applied to a lot of different lanes, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, music's very like vulnerable too. You're putting your soul out there, especially whenever you're singing and like writing your own lyrics. So you kind of have to just put it out there and like, and be open to changes and not get butthurt every time someone, makes a suggestion or something. Cause I think collaboration most of the time breeds like the most beautiful
For
work,
sure.
so.
For sure. Last but not least, 2009, Forget and Not Slow Down.
Yeah.
Relient K, 8 of 11, 15 tracks, 42 minutes, alternative rock out of Canton, Ohio, podcast first. Learning to live with the mistakes that you've made was a snippet of the verbiage that you typed in association with this. You get that or have gotten that from this album, right?
Yeah.
And then have you felt some of that for yourself personally as well, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think like as humans, we all like replay the mistakes that we've made, over our lives. And I mean the title track, Forget and Not Slow Down, is all about like saying like, look, I made those mistakes. I'm not gonna dwell on them. Basically, I'm gonna like not let this slow me down and move on. And so this album has been a constant reminder in my life of how to work through that and like leave, learn from the past and grow from it, but be able to move on.
Yeah.
And see the better future. And this album this is a funny one too, because I could have probably picked any Relient K album, but I chose this one because, for the same reason I chose Futures with Jimmy Eat World, because it was sort of a turn in their career where they had like fully matured and weren't just writing like quirky pop punk songs anymore. They were trying to say something a little deeper, I think, and it also showed musically that they could do something a little bit different than the same old pop punk thing.
Right. You called it an honorable mention and a departure from their typical pop punk sound.
Yep.
So is the departure that sets it above the rest that evolution or growth or maturity?
I think so.
Okay.
Showing, because I identified, with these bands whenever I was in middle school and high school. And then I graduated, I moved on, and I listened to my favorite bands and realized, oh, they're like, they're growing up too. We're going through this together, kind of thing. Yeah. And like, that was always like really comforting for me. And this album in particular was written by the frontman who, I think if I remember right, he had been engaged, and then I think he broke up with his fiance, and he'd already written some of these songs like about her, for her. And then he kind of like forced himself to finish the album. Dang. And so it became kind of a breakup album where it's really about like dealing with those mistakes that he made in that relationship and then how to move on from the future. And if you listen through it with that in mind, I think you can kind of hear that, like Savannah, for example, I think it was kind of a love song that he had written to her, and then it's way more mellow the way it came out, and kind of puts a different spin on it.
Yeah. Backing up to Dave, haters gonna hate. A handful of months ago, there was stuff going around about him, and I never really like gave it much energy or looked, but it seemed to be associated with infidelity.
Yeah.
Was that it?
He fathered a child outside of his marriage, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean was that it as if to say that there's nothing wrong with that,
right,
or it should. But I mean, leading up to that moment, from a distance, I own no Foo Fighters records, and the only time I've listened to the Foo Fighters is if a friend's put them on or they're on somebody's list, and then I sit down and listen to that record.
Yep.
But he's always had like this kind of good guy, like positive
aura,
playing to the who are the haters? The hateful, gross
The
Topeka.
Westboro
That
Baptist
that
Church. Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
it's always just been. Seems like a good dude.
Yep.
Seems like a good dude. And then this happens, and people are like, burn him at the stake, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, have you led a flawless life that you
Right.
want to like? None of that other stuff count. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. It bothers me that people have that kind of opinion about him, and it like really ties in with this album because I actually think the guy that wrote this album, I think that's why him and his fiance got broke up as well, was for like something similar.
Okay.
So he had worked through that, so I think it just goes to speak to like people make mistakes, like you said, you know, and you have to learn to like move past them and live with them. And we're all just human trying to make it through,
Yeah. So back to the notion, the weird thought that I put a pin in. It was for this Relient K record. And it was this weird, not marriage, but like occasional conjoining of Ben Folds and Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Like not, from track 1 through the end, but it came up several times.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I hearing this wrong? Like, so you've got a little bit of the pop and emotional, heady stuff from Ben Folds, and then the Foo Fighters they have that stuff too, but
kind of rock spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to describe what's happening on the album.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Because I liked this album. I don't like Ben Folds.
Oh, really? Yeah. Ben Folds is great. It kind of wears on me a little bit,
bro. I had heard of him a time or two, and maybe even been at a festival where they were playing, but didn't know much. And then "Rockin' the Suburbs" came out, and I'm like, "What are we? You people are you paying money for this?"
Yeah.
So
it's a little too cheeky for me. I think at times.
Yeah. Well, either way, it was a fun list. I enjoyed. I had given that Ocean Avenue album a listen before.
Yeah.
But then we had Blink, Foo Fighters, Jimmy Eat World, and Relient K, which were all first listens for me, and records that I probably never would have listened to. I mean, whatever. If they don't make a list, so they were fun by themselves, and as a collection, I enjoyed it. So I'm thankful that you shared it with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So since you sent me that list, you mentioned that I'm not doing myself justice, or I can't believe I left the album X off. Couple or three that have come to mind that or should get an honorable mention.
Definitely American Idiot by Green Day.
Okay.
Had that thought. Like I had heard of Green Day before American Idiot, but I'd never really listened to them. American Idiot was the album that hooked me, and then I went back and discovered the rest of their back catalog.
Okay.
And most folks, it's probably the opposite.
Sure.
I know a lot of people are like American Idiot and Beyond haters. They're like, the true Green Day was, the 90s stuff, and that's it.
But even they were a little bit different before Dookie and Kerplunk.
Oh, yeah.
They were kind of less polished and more punky.
Very raw back then.
And back to that, theory, my sister, 3 years younger, we were talking before we were rolling. She's in October and I'm a December, and then my daughter is a December and my son's in October.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, literally like she's early in the month, and so is my son. And my daughter and I are middle to late December. So, the age gap is almost identical.
Oh, yeah.
But she was, she had Dookie and Kerplunk. And I'm like, what? And I'm enmeshed in my empire of Zeppelin and Floyd and all these other things that I'm into. And like, what is that crap, But
yeah.
Fun list, thank you.
Yeah, of course. One more honorable mention.
Sorry. You said Green Day.
Yep, Green Day, American Idiot. Other one was From Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy. Which had Sugar We're Going Down on it. But just
both of those have made lists. I'm pretty sure.
I definitely believe that. The lyricism on that Fall Out Boy stuff's really cool, and I was getting into drums back then, and
Okay.
like anything that was in that vein that was a little bit different than just the pop punk beat. I thought was cool,
No
and
Doubt?
and they did that. Yeah, I love me some No Doubt, but
Nice.
yeah.
Let's see here. Somewhere in the episode 50 itself.
Oh yeah.
The gal Steph Rep. Shouts out to Steph. She designed my website and my logo.
Okay.
And I asked her in the very beginning, would she want to do one, and she was like, no. And then somewhere in and I was at the time, I was sending all the stuff to her for her to upload to the website, and eventually she was like, you do it. But she did it for a long time.
Yeah.
And somewhere in the 30s and the 40s, she was like, I kind of am thinking maybe I would like to do one. I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
Well, come on, let's do it. So she sends me a list, and it's like Fall Out Boy, and there was a My Chemical Romance,
Oh, sure.
and I mean, it was. She ended up throwing a Kendrick record on there, but. And I think the Kendrick was a last minute addition. All of it was heavy. And I was like, what? Like, totally never would have pegged her.
Didn't expect
she, like,
that, yeah.
She does web design. She's recently married, and plays like professional ultimate frisbee.
Oh wow.
Like travels and is on a couple different teams. Anyway, and she's a photographer. So, like, her posts on Instagram are like sharp.
Yeah, nice quality.
And it just blew me away. And I mentioned it, and she's like, I don't know what that is, but I think that getting into those feelings when I listen to this music helps me feel those feelings and then put them away. And I was like,
kind of deal with them and then put them away for sure. Yeah.
Interesting. So you're not just like morning, noon, and night angry.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
No, not at all. It's like, I didn't think so.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. So Green Day, American Idiot.
Yep.
And
From Under the Cork Tree.
From Under the Cork Tree, which is definitely stands out as cool album art.
It is cool. Yeah.
Oh, was it Relient K? No, I'm sorry. It was Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Where you talked about the artwork.
Yeah. I love that artwork. Yeah.
And there was a bunch of things listed that made that album unique.
Yeah.
What were they?
You mean like visually?
Yeah,
the images?
or you said it came with a. I
That's
forget.
right. Yeah, it came. So I love the album artwork. I've got it tattooed right here.
Yes.
I actually have 3 of these albums tattooed on me.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the other 2, I've got just the band logos on me. So,
Okay.
that tracks. But yeah, the Echo, Silence, Patience, Grace artwork combines things that wouldn't normally go together. It's the torpedo and the old vintage light bulb, and that's just always been my favorite type of design. I went to.
Oh yeah, you mentioned graphic design.
Yeah, I majored in graphic design, and I've always just been very interested by that type of like montaging different items together. But the book that came with it in the CD had, I think, 7 or 8 different alternatives. There's like a shovel and like a parking meter and just like some crazy stuff like that.
Cool.
That you just wouldn't expect.
You're not getting that off LimeWire.
Right.
I'll tell you
Exactly.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I purchased this album much later in life and then realized that.
On CD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still have your CDs?
I have some of them.
You've gotten rid of some.
Yeah, some of them wound up in like those old CD books,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like in the trunk of your car, and then at a certain point you forget about them, and then your mom throws them away or whatever.
Yeah.
So I have some of them, but
Right on.
but yeah,
Okay, one more time.
Sure.
Green Day, American Idiot, Fall Out Boy, From Under the Cork Tree.
Yeah.
Was there a third?
I think that was it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Right on. So I like to hit you with a series of goofy questions.
All right.
And then we'll wrap and get you out of here.
Cool.
So the first is you're given the ability to have a cup of coffee with anyone of your choosing, dead or alive. Who's it going to be and why?
Oh man, I know I've thought about this before because I've seen that question out there before. I might have to go like John Bonham or Keith Moon.
Whoa. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, just like legendary drummers, and just like pick their mind and hang out and talk to them about how they do their thing. It just honestly like just have a beer with them, be in the same room with them
Yeah.
would be cool.
Yeah. Um, Back in that building of the empire, there were so many I didn't know you could do that moments as a
Yeah.
listener for me in Bonham's work.
Mm-hmm.
From all the real bluesy shit with heavy rolls on the first record,
Mm-hmm.
up to something like Four Sticks. Are you familiar with this tune on
I don't think
Led
so.
Zeppelin 4? I recently saw a drummer get asked, "What's the hardest?" And he's like, "Four Sticks."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" Because I know Led Zeppelin 4.
Uh-huh.
And I went back and I was like, "Oh, I have no idea
Yeah.
what he's doing in there, but it's crazy."
Okay, I'll have to listen to that one. In
Yeah,
particular.
it's not my favorite. It's probably the weakest tune
Yeah.
on that record. That record's full of bangers.
Sure, yeah.
But it's fascinating. Keith Moon, I could identify there's some serious unique talent and chops happening in his drum work, but I didn't really spend a whole heck of a lot of time listening to The Who.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't mention those two guys and not mention Neil Peart. I mean,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
and crazy that they're like back at it with.
I know. Yeah.
And I've heard a couple people have given her huge
Oh,
props.
she's incredible.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I've seen some clips of her playing, and like she can just knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's
Nice.
so cool that they chose her.
Yeah. Anybody else come to mind as a goat?
Like drumming wise. I mean, those are the big two for me for sure. And then like Dave Grohl, Travis Barker, LP.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
If we can pretend or imagine that we all have a personal and a professional bucket list, you're given all the necessary resources to go knock out number one on each of those lists.
Okay.
What are those number ones?
Personal and professional, like career related or
Yeah. Professional, career related, personal, whatever,
yeah. Like what would they be? I mean, for me, like just getting the chance to play like an arena for me.
Okay.
Opening for a band that I love, or just playing in that sort of atmosphere and feeling that crowd would be really cool. I would just love to do that once
Awesome.
in my life. And I've gotten to play at some really cool venues. Obviously, none like arena sized, but I think that'd be it for me.
Okay.
For sure. Or like going to space. I've always wanted. What little kid didn't want to be an astronaut when they were young? Yeah. I think part of me still hangs on to that. I'm like, someday I'm going to go to space and spend 15 minutes up there.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I
Do the
don't
Katy Perry thing, kiss the ground when I get
I don't
back.
think I can handle it. I
Yeah.
mean, I mentioned watching movies that I love over and over again. Interstellar.
Yeah,
Like-
that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I mean, I'm like having a panic attack looking at Earth, or when they go by Saturn, like all of it. I'm just like,
yeah,
no way. There's no freaking way.
yeah. It's probably cooler than it would be in actuality.
Yeah.
The thought is cooler,
Right. Right. Okay, this is just whatever off the top. We're not worried about. We're not changing Matt Jack. We're not regretting or lamenting. But you're given the opportunity to visit your past self at any age of your choosing. What age are you choosing, and what are you saying?
I would probably choose myself in like elementary school, probably like 10 years, maybe not 10 years, maybe a little older than that, maybe like 12 years old.
Okay.
I felt like when I was that age, I wasn't yet, not to bring everything back to music, but at that age, I felt like I had a lot of creative energy in me, and I didn't know how to get that out or what to do. So I always felt kind of unfulfilled. So I think I would go back and just tell myself to pick up a guitar sooner.
Okay.
Or, be like, hey, here's how, this is for you. Like, start even earlier than you're going to start, because I think I picked up, drums when I was 13, 14. So I would go back to find myself that kid that was kind of lost and just say like, here you go. Here's
There you
your
go.
thing.
Yeah. Right on. You're aware that at one point there was a television program called Fear Factor.
Yeah.
You win the challenged by tolerating the gross. This is not that. This is real life. You got to get from point A to point B, and in the middle is your biggest source of fear,
Yeah.
anxiety, grossness, whatever the thing is. What is it?
Oh man, is this like a physical thing,
It's
or it could be anything?
Off the top, some bees.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown. I've had a few folks struggle to come up with one, and I go, where I am is Kill Bill, when Uma Thurman gets chloroformed and buried,
Oh yeah.
and just going crazy.
Yeah.
Because I would 1,000% be mental in that. I wouldn't have the Pi Mei 5 means of escaping. So
Yeah. Well, if we're talking like a physical thing, I would say like being in a pit of like slugs or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
sounds nasty.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
but if it's more like actual fears that I have, like I don't know how this would manifest it, but like the fear of like people I love dying,
Yeah.
basically, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably like the biggest fear of mine, I suppose,
Fair.
which is
Fair.
seems normal, but yeah.
Okay, last but not least,
Okay.
please complete this for me.
All right.
The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only.
Oh my gosh. We're solving some big world problems in here. Mm-hmm. Okay, say it again.
The world would immediately become a better place in which to live, if only.
I think if we all just communicated.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of the problems in the world come from lack of communication, or like assuming the wrong type of thing about the person that your adversary. And I think if we all just communicated a little more, I think the world would be a better place. Yeah.
Great answers.
Or I could have said listen to Blink 182.
I'll accept both. So at Death by Sci-Fi
Yeah.
on Instagram, at Matt Jackerman also on Instagram. Death by Science Fiction has YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Facebook,
Yep.
or was that
All the above.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Jack Chella is
April 3rd
at the Rhino.
Yep.
Other plugs.
Check out Shotgun Wedding Singer.
'Kay.
That's the 3-piece band that I'm in with Ben Wendt and Adam Doyle. We just released an EP on February 13th, Friday
'Kay.
the 13th.
Nice.
So that's a 6-song EP.
'Kay.
That's really fun. Check out Landlion, which is Ben Wendt's main project.
Yes.
I play drums for him in that. We put out an album in December. We put out a full-length album. So check out Landlion.
Parker Mason.
Yeah.
He was 3 episodes ago.
Oh, yeah. I listened to Parker's episode.
Okay, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay. Right on.
Yep.
So this EP was recorded where?
We recorded with Rod.
Okay.
Rod Fenton.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And Shotgun Wedding Singers and Death by, I pretty much use Rod for everything.
do you
So
really?
everything goes through
nice.
Rod.
Okay. Okay. Good stuff. Is there anything that you had hoped that we would cover that we did not?
Oh, man. I think we hit on everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Childhood, music, influences, all the bands. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that's just now occurring to me,
Yeah.
these trips with Yellowcard on repeat and your dad greenlighting all the listens to fish and camp.
Yeah.
Are those two things that stayed with you into adulthood? Do you do them now or?
Not really.
Okay.
Those specific activities didn't, but going out to that area really has.
Okay.
My dad he passed away, I think 3 years ago now, but he owned some land out in, it's kind of near Bentonville,
Okay.
between Bentonville and Eureka Springs. But the Eureka Springs area and Beaver Lake in particular has become kind of like a spiritual like vacation spot for me. Like
Nice.
I try to make it up there once a year with the family. I've got 2 big golden retrievers, so we'll load up the dogs, load up my son, my wife, and we try to get out there and get a cabin or an Airbnb and just kind of like get away from everything for a couple days.
Is she down with getting into nature?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right
I
on.
mean, we don't camp. We like I said,
Yeah.
we stay in a cabin. But just something up about being out there just feels healing to me,
Very
and
cool.
I think that comes from those trips.
I love that.
my dad and I took back in the day. So.
We are in the throes or the beginning of mud season, as I like to call it. I have an Australian Shepherd mix. So we are. She's so smart and she's so good. She knows if she comes in after being out and the towel is on the floor that she has to lay down to have her paws wiped. I have friends that have some kind of doodle and they put shoes on. Like they look like Crocs or Crocs for dogs. And they. So what do you? How do you have two? Not small dogs.
No.
How do you deal with trying to limit the amount of gunk that comes in from out?
It's funny you say the shoe thing because we did try that one year. They were basically so I have a 10-year-old golden retriever and a 5-year-old golden retriever. When the 10-year-old was like 2 or 3, we were dealing with mud season, and I bought these things on Amazon that are basically like water balloons that you put over their feet. And it's got the the elastic thing, and she hated those.
Of course, yeah.
So that was a no-go. But we have a doggy door, and I just close the doggy door so they can't get out until I let them out. And then when they want to come back in, it's like a train. We get one comes in, and they know the routine at this point. She'll hand me her paws, and I've got a little paw cleaner. With like the bristles inside.
Yeah.
Put some water in there and just do their paw, and then the next paw, and then wipe them off.
So that
works pretty well.
I mean, does she lay down? Or she can give you the fronts if she's sitting, but what about the backs?
Usually I'll just have her stand up, and I'll just do one paw at a time in the back. So she just stands on her front legs. And
Okay. Yeah. Okay. With mine, I mean, she will not freaking stop digging. And she knows. She just everything with her is impulse control, and she's 4, going to be 5 this year.
Yeah.
And she knows. She literally just cannot.
She can't help herself.
Like she's still, like the GFM recording studio guys were like, "Oh, why is she in the crate?" It's like, well, because she's really good, but she can't not get in the trash.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "Well, just put the trash in the crate." It's not a bad idea, actually. But I mean, I just repaired a stretch yesterday or 2 days ago, and then went out this morning and saw another spot. And I'm like, bro, like you just. So that's one thing. The other thing is that if she'll do a lot of sitting out there, and so the front paws, they're gross on the immediate hair and the pads.
Yeah.
But the back, it's like all the way up to the elbows.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So that was my question about the dogs, and then finally, if you're when mud season is beyond us and the weather is nice, and your boy said, "I want to go fishing," is that all that hardwired? Can you? Here's what we need. Here's what we need to do, and boom, boom, boom. Or
I think I know enough to get us started, and then honestly, because I've thought about this before. We actually have a little pond behind our house.
Oh, nice.
And he, when my dad passed away, I went through his garage and got a bunch of old rods and stuff. That for mine whenever I was little, and I brought him home. So those are just sitting in my garage, basically waiting for him to ask me to use them at some point.
Sweet.
But yeah, it's gonna be something I think I'll be able to figure out. And I think I'll find joy in like remembering what my dad taught me, but also kind of figuring it out on my own.
Is this like cup of soil with some worms in it, or is it more intricate than that as far as bait or the kind of fishing that you're doing or used to do?
Yeah, it was pretty simple. Just
so you don't want to be in a pit of slugs, but you can get a worm out of a thing and put it on a.
One single worm doesn't bother me. I don't love it, but I have this weird thing with slugs because whenever I was like 12 or 13, I went out back in my backyard barefoot and stepped on a slug.
I knew you were going
and
there.
That visceral memory has just never left me.
Oh yeah,
like I scrubbed it, and the crap wouldn't come off. Yeah.
the public pool that we went to in the 80s, had a big wide open changing area in the men's, and then some showers and some toilets. That floor, and it was not that brightly lit. It's different now. They remodeled it.
Yeah.
But it was a little dark, and that floor was always wet. And I would walk on the sides of my heels. And the same was, if I'm at a water park and I got to stand in line and it's just wet, like I can't. And I play hockey on Wednesday nights, and I've for 25 years been playing, and every team has had at least one guy that'll just go in the shower barefoot.
Oh.
And I'm like, there's nothing but animals in and out of this room.
Oh yeah,
being gross. And
no thanks.
Never has once occurred to you to throw some flip flops in your bag. And
yeah, just get the cheap $2 flip flops from Walmart or something and throw them.
But yeah, man, I had that slug experience, and then it was like, I'm coming with all the salt in the world.
You gotta be prepared. Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Right on, man. It was really nice to meet you. I appreciate all of the effort and energy in the correspondence, and for showing up and sharing some of your Tuesday with me. And
yeah, absolutely.
Hope to talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks.
Yeah.